that needs to get soft gas and stuff. I still don't get it. Okay. Do you want me to go handheld closer to them when they talk?
Can everybody hear me? How about now? Any better? Okay. Take it out in the middle. I hereby call the caucus to order. My name is Tree Wilson. I'm the temporary chair of this precinct, and I'd like you all to be quiet so that we can hear, everyone can hear. That is as loud as this poor thing will go. Does this help if I'm any, yeah, I'll raise it up. Bev, do you want to come here maybe and hold up the microphone for me, or maybe Sandy, somebody? Steve will. Good. Thank you. Hold it up so that we can hear. And I'll put my mouth close to the microphone and see if that works. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. A little bit of backstory. There was a caucus chair that was determined well over a week ago. He couldn't make it. A second one was declared on Saturday, and I found out Sunday that he couldn't make it. So I'm filling in with very short notice. So bear with me. Luckily, I have a script to follow. I've declared the caucus to order. My name is Tree Wilson, and I'm the temporary chair for the precinct. I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you for supporting our local state Democrats. The primary purpose of our caucus this evening is to elect 12 delegates, 12 alternates, and convention committee members. There'll be two convention committee members for our precinct, and for the precinct over there also two. And then there'll be alternates, 4 alternates for the precinct committees, or for the county platform committee. The county convention will be March 21st of this year. We'll discuss and adopt resolutions to be recommended to the county platform committee, and we'll elect precinct committee members who will serve as voting members on the county central committee. Again, that would be 2 representatives to be on the county central committee. To give you a quick idea of what the night will look like, first we'll have a short presentation on behalf of the Iowa Democratic Party, then we'll hear from any local electeds or local candidates. After that, we'll calculate and announce viability for this precinct. In other words, we'll be counting everybody. And let's see if I can stand farther away. Less feedback. Okay, and then we'll break into preference groups and elect delegates, alternates, and county convention committee members. After that, we'll elect our precinct central committee members as a full group. Then we'll discuss platform resolutions. Finally, we'll discuss any remaining business before we adjourn for the night. But first, the caucus will elect its permanent caucus chair and secretary. As the temporary chair, I've been trained and certified to run this precinct caucus. I'm automatically nominated, and it is my hope to be elected as permanent chair. Are there nominations for the office of permanent caucus chair? It's been moved and seconded. Can we have a vote? All in favor say aye. I've never felt, I've never felt better in my life. Who is the other guy? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I have to skip down there. Okay, now we will elect our permanent caucus secretary. How about this? Any better? Okay. So we're about. Scream as loud as I can. Okay. So we're about to elect our permanent secretary for this caucus. The secretary will help me count people, also record important events like how many people have been counted and so forth. I will be very cooperative with the secretary. The secretary will also record what time decisions were made. It's pretty simple. I think, do I hear any nominations for who wants to be a secretary for this caucus? In other words, I want to volunteer. Okay. Mark? Okay. Okay. Folks get a say? One second, and I'll get Mark a piece of paper to write down on.
Oh, I'd like to talk to you about Amway.
For those that weren't able to hear, what we're doing is we selected the permanent chair, which is Trey Wilson. Thank you. And then I'm going to be the secretary to help him with the count and recording and make sure we get everything that processes, okay? I was. And then I tried to contact it's your own story. We don't need to go into it.
I nominate Mark McCormick as permanent secretary.
Mark McCormick.
Okay, so Mark has been nominated and seconded for secretary. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. One second now, I need to do some housekeeping kind of things with Mark right now.
Does anybody have an extension cord we could run from the PA system there to about here? Mark, are you okay with just shouting?
Just like a extension cord, like a drop cable for power. Now is the time to give the Iowa Democratic Party presentation. And the presentation is, right now I'm going to be giving a Democratic Party presentation. Okay, right now I'm going to give the Democratic Party presentation. It's actually reading a letter from our state chair, so hold on.
Great sound service.
Okay. Can everybody hear me now? How long is that call? Oh. Is this any better? Yes. Okay. Here we go. Dear Iowa Democrats, welcome and thank you for attending our 2020 Precinct Caucus. Tonight we are joining fellow Iowa Democrats gathered all across the state to do what we do best, organize and mobilize. But as you gather tonight, I hope you also take time to celebrate with each of the other growing strengths of our party and continue to work together to make our party even greater. There is no doubt we have our work cut out for us this year. That is why the work you are doing tonight is so important. This is the first step in building a strong grassroots organization that will take our state and country into a new direction. I got a bottle of water. But to do that, we must be united. You have entered tonight as a supporter of one of our outstanding presidential candidates, and I hope you are successful. No, I think this will work. Thank you, Frank. But regardless of our outcome, when you leave tonight, we must all be united as Iowa Democrats, ready to fight for our values. Because together we can take back the Iowa legislature and win important seats at the courthouses. Together we can sweep all 4 congressional districts. Together we can put Democrats back in the U.S. Senate. Together we can turn Iowa blue and take back the White House. The Iowa Democratic Party stands shoulder to shoulder with you in this fight, and together, I know, we will be able to celebrate in November the brighter, progressive future that stands ahead of us. Thank you so much for being a part of this historic night and for being a member of the Iowa Democratic Party. Troy Price, Iowa Democratic Party Chair. As you know, and as Troy reminded us in his letter, 2020 will be a big year for the Democrats. We have a lot of work to do and some very well-funded opponents. The 2020 coordinated campaign will touch every community and will work to get out every Democratic vote. And we will work to get out every Democratic vote. We need your support now to help build for success this year. I'm going to pass around the IDP, that's the Iowa Democratic Party, finance envelope. Since we'll be electing the 46th president this year, I thought it would be good that we could each toss in $46. But if you don't have that, please put in 5 or 10 or whatever you can. And every little bit helps. If you're writing a check, make it out to the Iowa Democratic Party. You can also donate by texting Iowa to 243725. So bear with me while I get the envelopes. Can't hear me?
Just a little louder.
A little louder, okay. Bear with me while I get the envelopes for your donations.
It would also be helpful if you put Mark, over here with the baseball cap on, he's going to come around and collect those envelopes that you're so generously donating some money to help defray the cost of these caucuses.
This is a cause, it's not a fundraiser.
There's a point of order. This is not on, the fundraising is not on the agenda. Can we get on with the caucus, please? Yeah. Point of order.
This is something I have to read. You can stay informed about state party happenings in a number of ways via Twitter at Iowa Democrats. Take your phone out now, I guess, and start following them tonight. On Facebook, Iowa Democrats, and through their website, iowademocrats.org. You can submit questions or feedback anytime via email at info@iowademocrats.org. The party has been working hard over the past year to strengthen our organization and to support our county parties. I hope you'll connect with them and stay engaged in the months to come. Okay, next up, elected officials and candidates' presentations. 2020 will be an exciting year for the Iowa Democrats for many reasons, not the least of which is our great slate of candidates running for local, state, and federal office. We have a table set up with petition forms for our candidates. Where is that located? We do not have a table set up. Nobody needed us to sign a petition, which is great. Do we have any candidates here at the caucus tonight? Anybody running for any local office? Rep or Senate? Okay. If they don't need any more signatures, then they're not going to bring any petitions. Somebody's going to look for the envelope with the petitions in it. We don't know where it is right now, but somebody's going to take a look at that. We're trying to move this along as quickly as we can. If somebody has the total count for precinct 66, the total number of people who registered, there's nobody at the desk anymore. What's going to happen next is that we're going to pass out preference cards, and you're going to write your preference on that card, and then we will determine viability from that point. Our precinct, you need to have 15% to be a viable, to have a viable candidate, and we will let you know which candidates are viable and which are not. And then we will explain what happens after that in just a little bit, okay?
Okay, the way that I'm going to be doing the account is I'm going to be working with my secretary. And as each card is going out, the cards have numbers on them. And when I get done, I'll know how many people here are eligible. That's the most true, accurate way of doing it. We've done it other ways, other years, with people standing up and sitting down and so forth. That didn't really work out. We had to do, last year we had to do the count twice. So, it will take time, but it will be accurate. Get to know your neighbors while we're doing the count. And here we go. The other thing that's absolutely critical important is that you do not write on the preference card until I say to. So, don't write until I say it's okay to write on the card.
All right, if you didn't hear that, please do not write on the preference card until Tree tells you to. Tree is the gentleman that's been talking in the brown sweater. Do not write on your preference cards until Tree tells you to. Please be patient. This is democracy.
Once you get the go-ahead, once you get the name on the card, please hold your ballot up so we can get it counted. Please don't leave until we get our viability, the total number of people here at the caucus, and we get your precinct or your preference card. Your vote does not count unless you have your card. Okay, thank you guys for your patience. Hopefully soon. We do not have the numbers yet.
give some to? Do you want to give some to some of the volunteers? Can we have somebody from each campaign come over to one end and pick up some cards, please? That should make it go a little bit faster. Just one person from each candidate. Campaign, sorry.
Against the register.
Get some cards from Tree. I'll get some cards from Tree. Should we do charades for you? My name is Stephanie Running, RUNNING. You may have me on Facebook.
Well, Stephanie, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, don't do that. I'll be for you. House Precinct 68! Woo! Are you guys up and back? Are you guys sitting? Are you guys caucusing for your candidate? Back all the way back there. Make sure you get cards all the way back there. Got it. Go. Are you a volunteer? I said one item. I'm nobody. I'm nobody. I don't know. You know what? We're not nobody. We're voters. No.
Yeah, let's do that. So this is 200 cards. You as one
This person is Tree, and I cannot, T-R-E, just one E. I cannot recall his last name. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, but I think his wife's name is Nancy, if that matters. Okay, thank you. Right. I told everybody that. Okay.
Yeah.
Your precinct captains are now handing out the preference cards. Again, please do not fill out online cards until we count the dates.
Okay with Dan if I just move around?
Just try to not get frustrated and just try to just do as much as you can.
It's fine. No, it's, I don't... Okay.
Everyone, this is live. This is the most important live we've done this whole day. Let's just do it as nicely as we can.
Is there a group that doesn't have cards yet? Raise your hand if you do not have a card yet. I do not have a card yet. Can I get a card? Dave, can you get a card for me? Oh, thank you. I'm not filling this out yet. Where's Tree? Tree, I think everybody has their, I got one. Thank you. Tree, I think everybody has their cards. We need instructions. What do we do next?
Alright, so what we're going to do is here, I'm going to go by preference group, because that's probably the easiest way to do it. We're going to have each group stand up.
He's going to go by preference group and have each group stand up.
The preference captains can help me as we go along. That way everyone feels comfortable with the counts. And then we'll just go group by group until we get everyone.
Something, group by group. We can't hear you. Mark.
It's probably hard to hear me without a microphone. I apologize. What we're going to do right now, can you guys hear me? Yes. All right. Say
We're
again.
going group to group. Mark, do you want the mic? Oh. We're so frustrated. You look really good. You'll be great on camera.
All right. Can you guys hear me fine? Good. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go preference group by preference group right now. I'll have the captains work with me. Each group will stand up. We'll count you. You'll sit down. That way I can get a count and the preference group captain can get a good count. Everyone feels like they've been seen and counted. Once we do that, we'll get our total numbers. We'll have our numbers by our initial group, and then we'll work the rest of the way through when it comes to realignment if necessary. Does that work for everyone? Hold on to them for a moment. Sorry.
But I mean, I think if the person says the number as they pass it, they'll get a very good count.
Okay, I can explain that though as we go to each preference.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not using these.
No, we are using these. So apparently we have to get the cards first. While the pass, we're supposed to be counting while we're passing them. Right? Then we get our counts. So
The count that we're supposed to get is the eligible participants, right?
we're not supposed to write it down. As we're filming, it is. It's super convoluted.
Okay, how many cards do we have left?
Yes.
Okay, there were 200 cards per pack. We had 4 packs. How many cards are left? Sorry. No, that's fine.
Why doesn't he? Because I have to verify them. When can we do that after we do them?
We need to know. We need somebody to find it.
Yes, so I'm going to start with one. Yes. Okay.
Do you have somebody with a piece of paper? Oh, you've got paperwork.
Yes, I do.
Who?
Thank you.
Okay. We need somebody to find the registration paper. Is there anyone still here that has the registration paperwork? The initial registration when everybody checked in. Anybody still here that has that? Any unassigned cards? If there's too many cards, please make sure they get back down the tree.
Leftovers.
And Mark, the beardy gentleman with the cap, he's going around doing count.
So is everyone foreign over here? Yes. Okay. Can I have everyone who's eligible to caucus for Warren please stand up? Okay. Now can I get 2 people over there? You step back.
Are they going to sit down as they count?
Sure. You can get there. Just start.
Steph. What about that? We have one.
Would you guys all be willing to count?
Yes.
And then sit when you're counted. Please do it slowly. Okay. Not too slowly.
I'm going to point to you. We can say the numbers together. Like we just did.
Yeah, sure.
1, 2,
3,
4, 5, 6,
7.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43,
in November. I see
44,
one back there, I know Elias.
45.
Anyone else?
Elizabeth Warren's going to be the 46th president. 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55,
So we only have 2 people?
56, 57, 58,
We have 2
59,
young voters. Thank you very much, guys.
61,
What's your name?
62, 63, 64, 65, 66,
Taylor.
67.
Taylor and Elias.
Are there any
Thank you
other?
very much for coming
Is
out.
this gentleman over here? What? We're at
Do we have
67.
any new caucuses over here? We've got, what's your name? Isabella is a new caucuser. Congratulations. Sorry, what's your name?
We have 67.
Maddie, congratulations on your first caucus. Come back every time.
67.
Anybody over here a new caucuser? Brand new? Anybody? Oh, we've got 3. So you guys are going to be 18 for the election? Not going to be 23.
I'll count them out then, shall I? When I count your number, I'll be back there.
I was asking
Feel free to
you-
count with them if you could. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Woo! 39.
39, and you're not. Thank you.
All right. You did that really well.
Okay, we've got a few people.
Are we ready? Okay, 1. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 41,
Oh, you guys got a lot of work over there. Congratulations.
53, 54, 55, 56, 57. What about over there?
Hi. How many of you are brand new caucusers? This is the first time you've ever caucused. That's like 90% of you. Be more engaged. Come on.
Please sit down when I point to you. Sit down and not before. 67. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, bye, Nicholas. How many of you guys, this is your first caucus you've ever been to?
15, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. Yes.
Anybody else?
Yeah. That's the same number I got before.
That's good.
Yeah, it is.
Not yet.
Thank you.
I forgot how to count.
I know you go.
Let's see, what comes after that one?
That's what I observed. It's crazy.
Bernie!
All right, Bernie! 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Frank, where are you? Frank's up front. Okay, Frank, 91. Mark, 92. Okay, 93.
I only counted myself once. 93.
Hey, Mark, we had one that accidentally stood up, so 92.
Say one that accidentally stood
Yep,
up?
92.
Okay. If you're gonna tell me to do less, I'm not gonna like...
Honesty, integrity, dang it.
It's important.
Is Michael Bennett here? Have you got your total?
Not yet.
You've got your number? Are they all of them?
Not yet.
Yeah. Anybody for Bennett? Booker? Any other long shots? Delaney? I shouldn't have made the face. I apologize. All right.
Do you need these?
Probably yes. Eventually. I'm not that far yet. First, we All right. So I got the counts. I got to tally them up. I'll let you guys know who's not viable. At a glance, Andrew Yang's not going to be viable. Tom Starr's not going to be viable. But let me get the counts, and I'll let you guys know.
Do we have a picture?
Do we have any uncommitted? Do we have? Okay. I don't think they want to be looked at with cameras. Okay, so if you want to get a picture, yeah, I will.
Copy, thank you. I'll let you know when we're back.
Where's Tree?
Tree's right here. He's right there. Right there.
Never mind.
You should just stand there. Okay.
Everybody's looking at my really bad math homework.
You had an interview?
Yes. So.
Excuse me?
Sorry.
Would you mind if I use your chair?
Quite comfortable. So you only have 97? Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Who is it?
23.
Okay, and I've got 16 here. So, you want to add that? 16, 23, 45.
I checked her address.
I had 40, 45,
Yeah.
23, and 16.
Uh-huh.
84.
84. Let's see if I come up with the same number. 7, 11, 14, 1, yep, 84. So this is total of 84. Okay, good. Let's put them all together.
So they're doing counts, everybody. They're going to determine who has and who has not met the 15% threshold. And then we will be doing some movement then. I know the card thing. I don't know exactly what time the cards come into play. We have to wait for Tree. Sorry, I'm just a human being who walked in here.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I know it's frustrating.
The ones that are not viable, which is
I think everybody appreciates that. Everybody else changed. We didn't just have 10 people or 20 people deciding for everybody in the neighborhood. Some of the campaigns have water if you guys are getting hot. Get some water. I know Warren had some water. Pete had some water. Anybody else have water? Because I know, okay.
Some shots of them.
So this head count was just so we have a total of how it's like. And then since we got it by group, we can basically skip over the whole first alignment preference group chair. Right. So.
Do you want to do both, all of this and this mic, or do you want me to keep doing the mic? Which one do you want? Because I want to keep helping you if you want the help.
No, I appreciate it.
But I'm stepping on toes and I might want to. Okay.
So right now I think we can do this. So did you do the training?
I did.
So are they okay, so are they still
Now everybody can fill out side one of their preference card. Yay! Everyone fill out side one of your preference card. We have 376 people from our neighborhood here tonight. That is awesome. 376. I think in 2016, did we have 208 or something? Does anybody remember? This is a great turnout. Thanks, everybody. But don't leave yet. So you're filling out the cards yet. Does anybody not have a pen or another writing utensil? We've got some people all the way in back. They need some pens. Some Pete folk need some pens. I think they're getting them. Anybody else need pens? Make yourself known. Everybody wants to help you. Bernie people, you all got pens? All right. Are you guys 66 or 67? Okay. Bernie people need pens. Bernie dude. Wave your card if you need a pen. Put your card up in the air and wave it if you need help. Card in the air and wave it if you need help. If you need a pen, if you need, I don't know, if you can't spell your candidate's name, it's W-A-R-R-E.
Are we filling these out?
Only fill out the blue side right now. Please sign at the bottom of the line.
Okay.
No, he's still.
Let's find out the viability, and then as soon as they dismiss the Bible, I'll come, okay?
So we're going to find out who's not viable. Mark, do you have info on who's viable? Okay, we have to wait till everybody fills out their card, and then we can determine if the candidates are viable. I love you guys too. Thank you. Just so you're aware, I asked earlier if anyone had an idea where the registration papers are. We found them. They are found. They were in the box they were supposed to be in. Nobody thinks they're going to be there.
I just feel dumb with you guys.
They was filled.
Okay, my next motion is, after we find out who is viable, if your candidate is viable, you stay with that candidate. You can't change your vote this time, okay? You have to stay with your candidate if they're viable. If they are not viable, you can talk to representatives from each of the campaigns, and they will share with you information about their candidate that may help you decide that that's the candidate you'd like to support now. You may also leave if you don't want to have a second choice. I do not recommend you do that. Please stay and listen to what the other campaigns have to say. Maybe you haven't heard everything that somebody wants to do. I think each
campaign gets 5 minutes or...
each viable campaign gets 1 minute to speak to you as a whole group. 2 minutes. He's saying 2. We're having a disagreement on the number of minutes.
I can declare it. Just kind of a voice vote. Who is good for 1 minute and who's good for 2? So let's hear it for people who want to do it. But we can't hear.
Up to 1 minute each. It says in the book here. So it says in the book. That's what we're going by. 1 minute each for each candidate that's viable to try to convince the non-viable voters to support their candidate. Or you don't have to support any other candidate. That's also a choice.
Okay, so we already have first alignment done. We have the numbers. Everybody's got their cards filled out. Okay, no?
If you are with a non-viable candidate and you want to leave, you have to turn your card in first. Turn it into Mark, turn it into Tree.
Do we need to be that
One
close?
of those 2 guys, make sure they get your cards.
All right, so 376 people total here. The viability threshold for 15% is 56. The viability threshold is 56. Viable groups are Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, and Pete Buttigieg. If you are with Amy Klobuchar, Andrew Yang, or Tom Steyer, you now have 15 minutes for realignment. Each of the groups will be able to send up a representative that is viable for a minute to talk. Elizabeth Warren had 67.
Warren had 67.
Bernie Sanders, 92.
Sanders, 92.
Joe Biden, 50.
Biden, 52. 57, I'm so sorry. Buttigieg, how many? 97. Andrew Yang, 11. Tom Steyer got 13, and Amy got 39. So those 3 candidates, we need somebody from each campaign to come up to speak for 1 minute only, and try to convince everybody else to choose your candidate. So, is there a way
I need some shots of Bernie stuff. I don't have any Bernie people. I'm guessing faces and
Do you like the stuff that's in the 50s we've got left? Here's your plan. No apologies to that.
Sanders, if you care about Medicare for all, for raising people up into health, if you care about the Green New Deal to save our planet, to advance our economy into the future, if you care about raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour to represent people across our nation, and if you want a viable candidate that can defeat Donald Trump in 2020, come join us over at the Bernie side. Come on, Team Bernie! Already out. Please raise your card. Once one of us collects your card, you may leave. I want to say thank you so much for waiting it out with us. I appreciate you. Thanks so much. Please hold it up until we collect it. Thank you.
I'm not a Klobuchar.
If you leave, turn your card in. I need somebody from the Biden campaign. I have somebody. Mike is here for the Biden campaign. 1 minute.
Okay, everybody's going to tell you nice things. They're going to tell you how great it is to be on their side.
You guys get down.
But what we've got in the Biden camp is a solid leader that can walk in day one, take charge, release the kids from camps on the border, restore our standing in the international community, and get things done right away. No learning curve, no waiting. He has the experience, he can go. So join us, join the group that can get elected and get in the White House in November.
Thank you, Mike. We need a Warren campaign worker. Please come over here and do your 1 minute spiel. Go.
Excellent. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Thomas Yavra. All I want is to have Donald Trump not be president for the next 4 years. Does anyone agree with that? We need a candidate who can convince my mom, who's maybe on one side of the spectrum, and my brothers, who are not, to bring a strong and consensus candidate into the general election. If you believe in a pragmatic way of getting things done, and if you think that things like climate change and addressing that challenge and addressing our healthcare crisis is important, come over to Elizabeth Warren. My brother right now is about to age out of his health insurance, and if he and his hours are continually cut as a barista at a coffee shop, if he doesn't get healthcare, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I trust that Elizabeth Warren is going to fight every day for a pragmatic plan to make sure that he can survive. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Now go ahead and speak individually with your neighbors that are supporting other campaigns. I'm going to hand this off to
I'm going to go second on Pete. Very good, thank you.
Make sure, if you leave, hand in your card. If you have changed who your card is for because your candidate was not viable, do you need a pen? No, bring that one. Fill out the back of your card, side 2, and sign it, or it does not count.
I feel like he's the most genuine of the viable candidates. I feel like they all have a diverse platform of ideas, but at the end of the day, it's who you trust to really maintain the ideas that you're voting for. I don't agree with him on everything, but I think of the available candidates, he's the one that I can most trust to do what he says he's going to do, and fight for that as well.
Cool. Here you go. It's hard to tell because I'm looking at the lab. Any Democrat.
Well, like I said, I think Bernie had the most common
Bernie's definitely
get involved in politics. You know what, John, just because I told you.
No pressure from us.
I know, hey, nice meeting you all.
Oh, did you turn your card in?
I did.
Okay, thank you very much.
They're going to let me know if they're okay with this.
Okay, I recognize that a lot of people have left the home later
Oh, I've got the headphones.
Okay.
Remember, you have to switch one to.
So what's going to happen is, Jenny with the card,
Sorry.
number one, I believe Tree made the decision. Tree and Mark said that that will count. So if you're, please just turn in your card before you leave. It'd be great if you stayed and tried to talk with your neighbors, but fill out the second choice if your candidate was not viable, and we'll add that to the cards. We'll add that to the people who made that the first choice. So I apologize. It's a long night. Thank you very much. And we'll talk to you soon. I have to go talking.
Oh, do you see them?
Can I take a picture?
So if you're,
I truly believe I'm worse.
I'm okay that she's home. Thank you.
Anybody out there undecided now? You don't know where to go? Anybody back there in the Steyer camp? You have got enough of these. You look around here. What do you think of that? People to stay. I have
Assuming that everybody who got counted filled one out.
Bernie, Joe, and Pete. Now all these are in Iowa.
Correct.
Plus 39 and 50 people. Spread out there. So transportation. Yeah, they all go to one.
So what I'm hearing is that we need to sit tight for a little while because we have yet to be counted. We need a certain amount here to ratify tonight's caucus. So sit tight and we'll learn more. I think it should move to what? I am speaking as a citizen or not as a microphone stealing person. What? I'm trying to do microphone stuff.
You did great.
I can't
take this off because sweat is drenched. You are my favorite mortgager now. All right, who's undecided now?
All of them will be counted if I have their cards.
People want to elect delegates, and Gary Warren will have them.
But we will still get there. I have to do
Are those people that change?
Hi, could I have everybody's attention really quickly who believe that Elizabeth Warren's awesome? If you would like to elect the delegates that go to the county convention and onwards in this process, you do need to stay to vote for those people. If you don't, I haven't confirmed.
Everybody who's part of a non-violent group, feel alive.
If you don't want to stay for that process, you can leave. Just make sure you've turned your card in to myself. As long as I have their cards, they are good. But if you want to stay to elect your friends and neighbors to the next stage of the process, you do need to stay. But don't take your card with you when you go, because then you didn't vote. Copy. Okay. Anyone who's wanting to let me know. No, and just make sure it's completely filled out. Do not leave with your card in your pocket. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. You need to write it with one. And your last name. Make sure your card is 100% complete. Zip code, your signature.
Everybody's leaving.
Me? No. All right. All right. Come. All right. Deal. See ya. Bye.
Are you all there?
Not yet. You're gonna stay. stay live. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Bye.
No, I want mine. No, this is the one.
Let's go down there.
I could have my fight. I mean, my
Check. Check.
Non-viable join that they actually wrote the candidate's name on the back and signed it. Otherwise, it is not a viable card.
Absolutely. Thank you. Just give us a second. So just look at me ignoring.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's your name?
My name is Dakota.
Dakota's
Yep.
your first name?
Yep, Dakota Johansson.
Johansson?
Yep.
Is that S-E-N or S-O?
Yep, S-E-N.
S-E-N.
Yeah. Yep.
What age are you?
I'm 28.
And where do you live?
I live around this neighborhood, just about 3 minutes away from the school.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's on the south side of Des Moines.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a staffing analyst for Wells Fargo Bank.
Okay, so I can see that you came to caucus for Andrew Yang, so tell me a little bit about what happened.
Yep, so we came for Andrew Yang. We did not meet the viability threshold in our first round, so we then encouraged people to vote their conscience in the second round. Everyone who came up was excited about Yang. There was a lot of energy, but unfortunately we didn't have the numbers. I personally voted for Bernie Sanders as my second choice, but we had a pretty diverse second alignment between the people who arrived for Andrew Yang.
Are you going to continue to campaign or go out there and talk about it?
I would still be glad to support Andrew Yang, volunteer where it would be needed, but unfortunately Iowa's over, so there won't be as much of an upswing until closer to the general election. Hopefully he's still viable and a candidate that's being talked about throughout Super Tuesday and the rest of the primary platform. But whatever he decides to do, if he decides to continue supporting another candidate, I would probably look closely at his opinion on that issue, but I'll support Yang as long as he's in the race.
And what happens in the presidential election in November for you?
For me, I think that I would definitely vote for Yang, obviously. My second choice, Bernie Sanders, who I caucused for aligned with second. It would really depend, I think, on who his running mate is, about what some of the issues are top priority for him. I agree with a lot of his platform. Some things are a little bit more extreme that I don't quite agree with, but at the end of the day, I don't believe that any candidate's going to get their entire platform passed from their first term. So I think it depends on what categories he puts first and foremost to see if he'll get my vote or get me to come out for the general election.
Will you vote for whichever Democrat is nominated, or
I would have
sure?
I would have trouble voting for Bloomberg. There are a couple of candidates who I don't feel are genuine. I don't feel have the best interests of the heartland and the Midwest in their sights. So it really depends. He can change my mind. There's still time, but as of right now, there are candidates that I don't think I could be confident in voting for.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep, no problem. Yep.
Interview? Thank you. Just look at me, ignore the camera.
Okay, yeah, that's so easy to do.
What's your name?
Denise Donald.
How do you spell your full name? Just so I get it.
D-E-N-I-S-E, Donald as in Donald Duck.
Got it. What age are you?
I'm 67.
And where do you live?
I live here in Des Moines.
And what do you do for work?
I'm retired.
So tell me a little bit about your caucus tonight.
I actually enjoy it. I'm a naturalized citizen. I'm obviously from Britain originally, and so I think it is my due diligence to come and help out in any way I can. So that's why I'm here. This is my third or fourth since I became a citizen. It's chaotic every time. This was a different chaos tonight, but it works, and you have to have good humor and just go in with a laugh and get to know the people who are sitting around. So, yeah, that's okay. It's done. I get to go home.
Tell me who you caucus for and why.
Pete Buttigieg. I think he makes a lot of sense. I saw him for the first time in person in June, and he was just such a refreshing breath of fresh air. He's very intelligent. He speaks extremely well and doesn't seem to get flustered, has all facts and figures at his fingertips, and is just a very impressive young man, I think. And I think we need somebody young and a total opposite to what we have at the moment. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
sit down as well and get
I
on
will.
the seat? Perfect. So you got a round of applause when you came in, I think. Did you? Or it wasn't you?
I don't think so.
Someone when they came in got a round of applause. It was very what's your name, first of all?
Kate Reed.
R-E-I-D?
R-E-E-D.
R-E-E-D.
Mhm.
And K-A-T-E.
Yes.
What age are you?
I am 51. I have to remember. I don't know why I'm looking at him.
And what do you do for a living?
I am a project manager at United Way.
Okay, and where do you live?
I live here on the south side of Des Moines.
So tell me a little bit about your caucus night. How did it go?
Well, let's see. It was my second ever caucus night because I have lived here for about 4 years, moving from Caucasiania. So this was a much larger scale than my first one. And I think a little bit of, certainly excitement to be here and kind of feeling like you're being where you need to be, voicing your opinion. On the other hand, if you've been here this evening, you've seen that there were some issues with tonight in terms of not being able to hear each other, and I'm still kind of left to wonder what else. But we're sticking around for now to see what more there is to do.
So where did you caucus for?
Elizabeth Warren, and frankly, it was a very hard decision, but I, in the end, just went with my gut for a few reasons. I mean, I would love to have a woman president, a female president, and beyond that, she is, progressive and she's pragmatic. She is super smart, and I just think she's up to the task in so many ways. It was a really tough field. I actually was still kind of mulling. I was one of those people that I didn't want to be still mulling. But
you came in decided?
I came in decided.
Right,
I don't think we
right.
had any undecideds that I could see. But yes, I mean, I've always felt like she would do an amazing job, and I think she can reach across the aisle, and so.
Ken, I noticed that you were caucusing for Joe Biden.
Yes, that's correct, yes.
Okay, so what's your name?
Sean Gannon, S-E-A-N-G-A-N-N-O-N.
And where do you live?
With her, actually. Yes, outside.
What age are you?
51.
And what do you do for work?
I'm a project coordinator at RDG, architecture and planning firm in Des Moines.
So why did you decide to come and caucus for Joe Biden?
He's a known quantity, and I think having had Trump for as many years as we have, and just seeing what he's done to our foreign policy, what he's done to our reputation around the world, to have someone that has already been, in the executive branch for 8 years. He knows a lot of the foreign folks that we would be dealing with, and I think he's well equipped to just jump in and start, taking care of things. He's moderate. I think there's a lot of people who voted for Trump just out of desperation because the Republicans in the Senate were preventing Obama from getting done a lot of the things, and I think people didn't pay that much attention and just sort of, gave up and thought, well, let's try something else. So I think someone like Joe Biden can come in and assuage a lot of fears. He just wants to take Obamacare and kind of ramp it up, not completely rip up and start from scratch, which I'd be happy ripping it up and starting from scratch. But I think a lot of folks are just, let's get back to kind of normalcy. Let's get back to some, something we can all be proud of. And I don't think he's a threat to anyone. I think everyone knows who he is. And we don't have to sort of convince people that, no, he or she is going to be okay. So.
A lot of discussions in your house the last couple weeks.
Yeah, every day is like ding dong. Oh, here's another. So we've had
people knocking on our doors and between us too. But I think we just acknowledged that there were a lot of strong candidates, which is great.
We'd be happy with any of the candidates, really. None of them make me go, ugh, that would be terrible. No, any one of them, we would full-throatedly be behind any of these.
Yeah,
these good
and we'll
folks.
be knocking on, doing our part once a candidate is known. So for whoever that is.
Yeah.
Yes, appreciate it.
Are you from Ireland?
I'm from Scotland, actually, but I live in California. I live in Los Angeles, yeah.
We met in California. We moved down here. Yeah, we met in Los Angeles.
Yeah, when you said you're
Right. The mandatory Botox across the LA County line, right? Thank you.
picture real quick? Sure. Thank you. Can you come around here, maybe just right here, and just look at me, ignore the camera. Okay. What's your name?
Laura Maris.
Could you spell your full name?
Sure. Laura, Laura, Maris, Maris.
And what age are you?
30.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm part-time stay-at-home mom, and then also I work as administrative support in an office.
And where do you live?
On the south side on Park Avenue.
How was your caucus night? Tell me about it.
It was good. Caucus didn't last in 2008, so it's been a while, so it had changed a little bit. This was my first time in this caucus, so yeah, it was pretty easy, straightforward. The new process was a lot more streamlined than the old one, so.
And who did you caucus for and why?
Elizabeth Warren. I like that she has a plan for everything. I'm really excited about her child care programs, health care, and also the student debt relief are my top 3 things. So.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
Oh, that's yours.
Did something.
Can you talk to someone that caucused tonight? You guys?
Yeah, we all did.
Okay.
We're all
How about you?
kind of volunteers. Sure.
Thanks. Just
Where are
come
you
around at Reuters.
Okay.
Yeah, come around here. We just maybe right here, and
Okay.
you look at me. Am I going over there? No, here.
I'll set this down.
Okay. All right. So just ignore the camera.
Okay.
What's your name?
Zachary
And your last name?
Bauer,
How'd you spell that?
Bauer.
Where do you live?
I live on the south side of Des Moines, Iowa.
I think probably everyone here says
Yeah,
the same
pretty much
thing, right?
everybody else.
And
Yep.
What age are you?
25.
And what do you do for a living?
Currently, I work at a movie theater. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your caucus night. How did it go?
So I was a volunteer, so it was a little different. I caucused in 2016, but I didn't volunteer, so it was just kind of like an easy, just like I go in, sit down, and wait for them to tell me what to do. But now that I've helped volunteer, it just definitely made it a lot more kind of pressure. There was a lot more pressure involved, so to say.
So why's your candidate Bernie? Tell me about that.
He just kind of speaks to me and like the everyday person. I feel like the people who have to live paycheck to paycheck, have to pay off student debt, who aren't able to use their degrees like they were promised, and like healthcare. I'm 25 and I turn 26 next month. At 26, we lose our healthcare, or we have to like start providing. I'm on my parents right now, but now I have to start providing for myself. So the Medicare for All would definitely be a lot of. It would ease a lot of my financial pressure. You know, especially being over $30,000 in student debt, which is kind of not a lot of fun. And then seeing all the European countries who do have like universal health care and stuff like that, it seems like such an obvious idea, but I know that there's like a lot of like big pharma and stuff. All the medical places don't really want that to. They want to be able to like overcharge people so they can profit. Another thing is his history was just. I mean, you can go back all the way to the civil rights movement. He was getting arrested in protests for like civil rights, and just all of his voting history has been kind of on the right side of history all the time. And I just really, agree with that.
What will happen if Bernie Sanders is not the nominee come November? What are you going to do?
If he's not the nominee, I'm still going to vote for the Democratic nominee, just because, I don't know if you were here around the last time, but the turnout was so much bigger for this year because everybody wants Trump out of office. He's kind of making our country a laughingstock to the rest of the world, and it seems like the right thing to do. Like I feel like all the Democrats are on the same boat, and I really hope that they don't try to like throw a wrench in it and try to like divide the Democrats so that it's like one person or nobody. So yeah, I'm definitely going to vote for the Democrat nominee, no matter if it's Bernie or not.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, let me call them. Just a white of the room. Yeah. Okay. And we'll just hold on it for a couple minutes. Everyone? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to the car park and just lock it off on a white shot, and then I'll get it to you. All right. Thanks, Lisa. Bye.